unanimous recommendation of the planning board. And this was after more than 2 years of formal hearings, public forums, campus tours, and lengthy negotiations. We're going to continue to welcome more public comment and input on traffic impact, environmental issues, and financial effects, among others. These are serious and weighty issues, and I think our friends on all sides recognize this, whether you're a member of the Citizens for Better Planning in Morris Township, if you're a Honeywell official or a Morris Township taxpayer that doesn't live anywhere near this property. This ordinance is incredibly important and an incredibly serious piece of legislation. Unfortunately, I am completely and utterly disappointed in the lack of seriousness that brings us to this proceeding. 2 weeks ago, this committee was lectured by Mr. Grazel about a fair and open process. He was quoted in the newspaper as such. Now we're back 2 weeks later to make sure the process has not been tainted by Mr. Grazel himself. We should have all had an opportunity to look at, and we all did, our local ethics ordinance, which reads, no government officer or employee shall act in an official capacity in any manner where he or she, a member of their immediate family or business organization in which he or she has an interest, as a direct or indirect financial or other personal involvement that might reasonably be expected to impair objectivity or independence of judgment. This issue is not solely about finances. It's not about the degree of control over Mr. Grazel's wife's accounts. This also has to do with an employment history with Honeywell, and whether or not there's anything in that history that might color Mr. Grazel's judgment. Apparently, that was not deemed serious enough to disclose. Or maybe it was considered that the political agenda far outweighed the ethical responsibility. Now, with his back up against the ropes, he chooses to fight back the threats of ethics investigations and potential lawsuits. It was my expectation that the politicization of the Honeywell application ceases after tonight, although I'm not holding my breath. When Mr. Grazel was sworn in this past January, I said that while the township had elected 2 committeemen from 2 different parties, they didn't do this to advance the politics of petty bickering and obstructionism. They did this because Morris Township residents demand and deserve big things from us. I said nothing big ever came from being small. Well, from where I'm seated tonight and what we've gone through this past 2 weeks, this serious, important matter has been dealt with in a pretty small way. I'm disappointed that we're all here tonight. I am saddened by the lack of integrity. I'm offended by the absence of honesty. And most importantly, I'm embarrassed for all the residents in Morris Township that have to endure this deceitful gamesmanship in the name of balance on the Morris Township Committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else care to be heard? Somebody please introduce ordinance number.
I need to ask you to ask Mr. Grazel just to step down while we do this.
Jeff, would you mind to?
Sure. Mr. Mills, would you like to go get the room?
No.
I will introduce ordinance 13-12, Mr. Mayor.
Let's read it by title. Ordinance 1312, amending Chapter 95 zoning and Chapter 57 land development, Township Morris. 101 Columbia Turnpike, Block 9101, Lot 4, Honeywell Allied Property, to be further considered for public hearing, second reading, final consideration at a meeting of this body held on August 15th, 2012 at 7 p.m.
We're not locked into that state of having to vote on it. We're just going to open it for public comment.
That's the return date for the public hearing,
okay.
And the chair may carry that meeting to as many subsequent meetings as are found to be necessary.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Caffrey?
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Sisler.
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson.
Yes.
Mrs. Rizzo, would you join us now, please?